Alright, so this is going to be the tutorial on how to get started with the, laying down your values when you're doing your vector portrait drawing. So just one point I want to make. Um, so Illustrator and Photoshop, they kind of work hand in hand with one another. So, like I told you before, do keep the Photoshop file open. But for some reason you do not like the brightness and the contrast you applied on this particular photo, you can always click back in Photoshop, and if you go to Windows, History, and for some reason if you feel like this is too dark, you can undo it and then just do File, Save, Save Changes. Yeah, so you're gonna save over it. Oh. Looks like I closed my picture. Alright, I'm going to reopen it again just so I can make those changes. We're going to do File, Save, and if you click back on this portrait, it's going to ask you if there's missing or modified links. You just click Yes, and then it'll go back. It'll make that change if you did it in Photoshop. So, these two programs work hand in hand with one another. I might just leave it like the way it is. But changing the brightness and the contrast, so it just helps you, with how to determine your values. So the very first value I would put, so remember, values are your lights and the darks in your drawing. I would always start off with your dark values because that's gonna be like kind of like your foundation for the drawings of the dark values. It's like almost the same thing as your outlines in the picture. So for this particular drawing, I'm not even gonna do the outlines. In theory, if you are real good with the values and you have some strong values in your photograph, most cases you don't even need the outline to help you out with your drawing. But sometimes the outline makes it look a little more interesting, so it's up to you. So I'm just going to create a new layer, title this my darks. So wherever any area where it's dark, I would just color in that area. So this is going to be very similar to how we did the cube drawings. And I know a lot of you, this is probably a really tedious process to do it. So under the dark layer, and I would just put the outline on the very top. That way your outlines are still there, you can see them. And I would lock the outline layer. So lock the outline layer, and you want to work in the darks. And I would just switch this to black. So just remember on your fill and your stroke, your fill should be at none. And your stroke, you want to change it to black. And to get to these swatches, you can go to Windows and click on Swatches, and then make sure to click on down here, Default, and then Print to get these swatches. So you have all of your values that you need. So under your darks, basically you're just going to zoom in on the computer, Command plus to zoom in. And you're just going to draw in all those areas where you see a dark value. So, you want to take your time and draw the dark values. And make sure to utilize the curves. So just remember with the pencil, if you ever do end up using curves, like I'm going to use it right here, you click and drag to make a curve. And make sure to click on that last point so it doesn't do that weird thing that some of you have probably experienced already. And really do take your time, trace all of the little details that you see. Alright, because the more details that you put in the drawing, the more interesting it'll look. And you don't have to trace every line, you just want to trace, you're just going to be creating dark shapes. So I'm coloring all these areas where it's dark. And I'm going to make sure that, oops, I'm going to use a curve. So Command Z to undo, make a curve, and continue. So like right here, I gotta make some curves because of the eyelashes. So even adding these little details, it does make a big difference to your drawing. Alright, so do take your time with tracing those values. It will make a big difference in the quality of your work. Alright, so I'm just going to stop right there, and I want to actually color this whole part black. So I'm going to go in here now, And I can do another drawing for that part later, but I'm gonna go up here. And just remember, like the cubes, make sure that you're using closed shapes. So I'm gonna go through part of the eye here, and I'm gonna make sure to close this shape up. So what I mean by closed shapes is I'm gonna go all the way around to one side, and I'm gonna try my best to get to the other side. Alright, so this is gonna be a closed shape. For some reason, if you forget to close it. Alright, let's just say I forgot to close it and I, clicked on something else off of my pencil. So just make sure though, to go back to where you were drawing, click on your selection tool, selection tool, then click on the pen tool, and you want to click on that last point that you made. And when you highlight it over with the pencil, there's gonna be like a minus, and that's gonna allow you to continue your drawing. But real important to close up that shape. So now this shape is done here. And just like what we did before, if you want to hide the image, if you want to color in that shape, you click on that circle and then do Command or Shift X, and that's going to color in the value for your eye. All right, so then that eye is done. All right. So I'm actually going to flip it around because there's some other parts I need to. Some other parts I need to draw first. But that's how you're gonna do the coloring part. So I would work right here. This is gonna be another area I'm gonna color in dark. All right, and again, you want to use closed shapes. For this part here, I can just use lines. So I can make a line right here. Make another line right here. Oh, I gotta click on the last point. Yeah, make another line right here. So these particular ones, I can just make lines. Just trace it like it is, as it is. But probably most of you have those areas traced already. You want to add those details. So I just make a line, V, then P. So just remember these are the hotkeys to make it easy. So V is gonna deselect, and P is gonna go back to your other pencil. VP. Alright, but just try to lay out all those dark areas. So, just another area that's dark, right here. I would just trace all of this, just trace all the way around. Just think of black shapes when you're drawing. And, just make sure not to trace over the gray shapes. So I'm just tracing with my pencil. This is all we've been doing. It's just tracing. So it's nothing new that you're learning. It's just, now you're applying everything that you've learned into this project. And some of those areas was hard to determine the black and the gray. Sometimes you gotta simplify these shapes. Just make the best judgment that you can for this drawing here. So I'm not even gonna do these individual lines. Let's just make this into one shape. I think that'll make it look better. It's one shape. So I'm just trace all the way around, and just be real careful not to click on the other vectors that you make. Alright, so that's gonna make my black shape right there. Alright, so now when I zoom out and I hide the image layer. Now when I click on the circle and hit Shift X, now I have part of my drawing done. So you want to do that for your entire drawing. After you do all the black shapes, you should have a good foundation of how that portrait's going to look. And then after you do with the black, then you're going to work on those gray areas, and then you'll work on the white areas last.